Hello, good afternoon. I am here on my parents' farm, and today my dad and I are undertaking a very interesting project. My dad has a friend who farms bison, and usually when they're slaughtered they kind of just like get rid of the heads, but instead my dad was like, hey, why don't you give me one of those heads and I will do a project with it. So that's how we got ourselves a giant bison head.
So Jamie, what were your thoughts on pressure washing a bison skull?
Well, it was fun. Except for I didn't like when it ricocheted back into my face.
Day's work done?
Now, neither of us have ever done a project like this, but we do love a challenge. This morning, I did a bit more pressure washing on it and got most of it off. So today, the next step is to actually boil it, which is a bit odd.
Okay, dehorning the bisons.
Gonna squeeze it.
Okay, so we're supposed to saw off half of those.
So
Yeah,
like how much? Like where it tells
like here. Yeah, nice one. Yeah.
Ah, now I know I wanted to go for my hands.
Is it really hot?
Ah, it's hot enough.
Fishing.
You go there, little buddy. Power washing. More melon? Yeehaw. Yeah. Jamie has always an appropriate clothing for dirty jobs. Looking like a bison head. The inside of his nose is pretty cool. Yeah, whatever that is. Ah! What are you doing? My watermelon! Not offense. She's not even sorry.
So we started the Buffalo Head project about 5 months ago. So this is an epic case of procrastination. But I think we're finally on the final step today. So we've already cleaned all the flesh off of it, and then we boiled it, and then we pressure washed it. And we actually did those 2 steps a few times. So we boiled it, I think 3 times in total, and then pressure washed it probably 5 times, because since we had left it so long before trying to clean it, all the flesh was kind of like stuck on it harder. So it was much harder to get off once we had left it so long. If we had done it straight away, it would have been way easier and probably only would have taken 1 shot. We finally have it at a good clean state. And now there are just a few nooks and crannies inside the skull that we weren't able to actually get at, that still have a tiny bit of flesh in there that's a bit gross. Final step involves soaking it again, but it doesn't have to be boiling this time. The difference is we are soaking it in hydrogen peroxide, which is going to kill any remaining bacteria as well as whiten the bone a little bit, because right now it's kind of a natural off yellow, and since it was pretty rotten and disgusting when we started the project, it's kind of black in some places, which isn't really that aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, the hydrogen peroxide is going to just whiten those out and even everything out a bit. This is where I've been keeping it, in this old abandoned playhouse, because the dog kept getting into it, sniffing around it. So there it is. So the skull itself is pretty clean. There's not much left to get out of there. So I'm also throwing these 2 skulls into the peroxide bath. This one my dad found on the land like 4 years ago, so it's pretty clean already, so I might not leave it in there that long, but just to give it a little bit of a bleach on the top here so it's more even. And this one I only found 4 months ago, and it looked like it had been pretty fresh at the time, so this one definitely needs a bit of sanitization because I think there's still a bit of disgustingness in the bath. One thing about the deer skulls that is different from the bison skulls is that you leave the actual antlers on for the deers. The hard part about that is that you don't want them to be touched by the bleach because then they lose their natural color. Apparently the natural color just looks way better than if they're bleached. So I'm gonna try to cover them up with this garbage bag. So this is what they look like now. Kind of funny. And I'm expecting that a little bit of water is going to get inside of here, but hopefully it's just not enough to reach the entire area and it won't be very destructive on the actual horns, but we'll see. So now we have to leave it in there for 24 hours. What I read online is you need 1/3, 1 of 3 parts water peroxide, which we have done. And it recommends you leave it in there for 24 hours, but I'm not sure if I want to leave it in for 24 full hours because I don't want it to be like a stark fake white. I'd rather it be kind of a more natural color. Also, have you noticed the change in the yard since the first time I filmed for this video? The weather's so nice now. Alrighty, so it's 24 hours later and I've left all of them in for the full 24 hours. I'm a little bit nervous. Let's see how they turned out. Whoa, looking good. Not as bleached as I imagined it to be. Actually didn't turn out as bleached as I expected them to. Maybe we didn't put enough peroxide in, but they definitely look way cleaner anyway. But look at this big stain on the top. It's too bad that didn't go away. I think I'm just gonna rinse them off one more time and then leave them to dry for a while. Alrighty, so it's been about 2 more hours since I rinsed them off, and I think they're ready for the final coat. I'm just coating them with this clear wood varnish, just so it kind of seals it and it doesn't start to crack or age or anything. So that's what I'm gonna do now.
Very nice, Jamie. How long did it take us to do?
5 months. 5 whole months.
Very nice.